Welcome, Sprout, to another beginner's guide to Final Fantasy XIV. In past episodes, we've covered the basics of character creation, the UI, and combat. Now, it's time for the biggest decision to begin your adventure: the jobs. For this edition of Welcome, Sprout, I'll go over a brief description of the different roles you can play and the basic concept behind each job. Nothing beats jumping in and learning firsthand, but hopefully this can give you a general idea to help you pick out which job will help you start your journey. Final Fantasy follows the traditional MMO structure of having 3 roles to choose from: tanks, healers, and DPS. Although every job is expected to do damage, these roles define how these jobs play and the expectations when in a party with others. First off are the tanks. Though it is one of the easier roles to play, tanks are often seen as the de facto party leaders. They set the pace in dungeons and position enemies as they draw attention away from others. Each job has a stance to keep the targets focused on them and a variety of role actions that allow them to reduce the damage taken as they handle large groups of enemies. Paladins are the iconic sword and board job of the Final Fantasy series. Starting in Ul'dah as gladiators, Paladins use combos to fill their oath gauge and mitigate damage with a variety of shields. Simple but flashy, they embody the playstyle of a classic Final Fantasy tank. Paladins are perfect for players looking to become the stalwart shield bearers for their party. Using their giant two-handed weapons, warriors smash their way through groups of enemies. Starting as marauders in Limsa Lominsa, a warrior's focus is built around using their inner rage to unleash devastating attacks. Their beast gauge unlocks offensive abilities, and they power through attacks by recovering their own HP. Warriors are an excellent choice for those who want to protect their party through sheer, raw might. Once a player reaches level 50 on any combat job, they can unlock Dark Knights in Ishgard. As their name implies, Dark Knights call upon their inner shadows to dish out justice upon enemies. Unlike other tanks, their abilities do require some basic mana management, choosing to cast a variety of offensive spells or self-shielding abilities. A solid choice for more experienced players, Darks are made for those who want to show off the grimmest of glams. Finally, Gunbreakers unlock at level 60 in Gridania. Wielding Squall's iconic gunblades from Final Fantasy VIII, Gunbreakers manage an arsenal of cartridges that unload effects upon enemies and themselves. Their rotation is much more similar to a DPS job, with more buttons to manage than the other tanks. Made for advanced users looking for faster-paced gameplay, Gunbreakers round out the tanks with a stylish bang. The next major role are healers. As the name implies, healers are responsible for supporting the party through a combination of direct actions, shields, buffs, and everything in between. When not keeping the party alive, their abilities often provide damage over time or debuff effects to enemies to assist their team. After all, you don't need to heal if the enemy is dead. Healers are a great option for players looking for lots to manage and enjoy the feeling of saving a raid with that emergency limit break. White mages are the staple of every Final Fantasy game. Beginning as Conjurers in Gridania, they are the basic no-fluff direct healers of any party. Their job meter manages a set of lilies to provide immediate support to a party or unleash a final devastating attack upon mobs. For players looking for the standard healer job without a lot of frills, donning the white robes is the perfect option. Scholars start as Arcanists in Limsa Lominsa. Using the power of a summoned fairy, they mitigate damage through a combination of heals and shield buffs with Galvanize. Stacks of their Aetherflow gauge open up more spell options to manage the pace of play. Although more complicated than white mages, scholar buffs like Expedient can bring welcome additions to round out a party. At level 50, players can unlock Astrologian in Ishgard. Drawing upon the power of their tarot cards, Astrologians can buff specific party members while providing direct heals and support to others. While they can feel more difficult than the base healers to start, their buffs can bring significant boosts to the team's overall damage, making them a popular option among more advanced parties. Sage unlocks at level 70 in Limsa Lominsa. Using Cardia to tie themselves to another player, their Newliths provide healing and support through the power of offense. Damage converts to heals on their paired player, while a variety of shields and regens support the rest of the party. Made for experienced players, Sages can truly shine with preventative measures for those who know a fight's mechanics ahead of time. The largest role to choose from is DPS, the pure damage dealers of a party. They live and die by their rotations, pumping out as much pain as they can while dodging a multitude of boss mechanics. Their performance is the difference between an easy raid clear or a night of repeated struggles. As the widest field of jobs, DPS has a large variance in playstyles and difficulties, with the main choice coming from where they fight. Melee stick up close and personal with bosses as they manage complex rotations, while ranged deal power from afar as they try to juggle mechanics. Monks are the hand-to-hand combatants of a group. Beginning in Ul'dah as pugilists, they cycle through various forms of fighting styles as they build up their chakra for powerful attacks. Executing these forms in specific combinations can change their flow of a fight and the types of abilities available to them. With several variations of their combo attacks, monks can be a challenging but engaging way to jump into battle. Dragoons are another staple to any Final Fantasy game. Starting in Gridania as Lancers, Dragoons play with a methodical precision while showcasing their iconic jump attacks. At max level, they have one of the strictest rotations of any job, making them one of the harder jobs for new players to excel at. Once learned, however, they present a good option for players who prefer using muscle memory and repetition over the variance of randomized procs. Moving to ranged jobs, bards offer the support bongos for your party. Starting as archers in Gridania, they are the token bow users of any MMO. Providing a multitude of support songs, damage over time effects, and precise arrow shots, they give up a regular rotation in favor of managing several timers and procs at once. Bards can feel hectic at max level, but they are perfect for players who enjoy having lots to keep track of at any given moment. Summoner is the DPS twin of Scholar. Also starting as Arcanist, a Summoner manages the elements to deal damage instead of healing. Controlling their aspects, they cycle through 3 iconic primals, each with its own unique abilities, before unleashing a massive icon as their finisher. They are one of the easiest jobs to play while still doing respectable damage, even as they block the sightlines of other players with their pets. Black Mages are Yoshi P's chosen. Beginning as Thaumaturges in Ul'dah, Black Mages are focused entirely on one thing: dealing as much damage as humanly possible. As they cycle between ice and fire, they store up their mana before burning it all in a series of massive explosions. Like Dragoons, they rely on a fairly strict rotation that wants to avoid interrupting casts as much as possible. Though tricky to play well, Black Mages are casters in their purest form. Once players unlock the ability to switch jobs at level 10, they can become ninjas. Upgrading from rogues in Limsa, ninjas are another advanced class with a lot of personal variance in playstyle. Players must memorize combinations of the 3 mudras to unleash powerful ninjutsu attacks and adapt according to a fight. For those looking to work from the shadows, ninja is a solid choice. Samurai unlock at level 50 in Ul'dah. As players study the blade, they will use several combo attacks to build up their sen gauge. Each sen provides a different type of attack, and combinations of them provide different types of abilities for different situations. Though confusing at first, Samurai are one of the few melee jobs with cast bars, giving a slower, more methodical approach for players intimidated by other options without sacrificing their output. At level 70, players can harness the power of the Void with Reaper in Ul'dah. With their scythes, Reapers harvest souls to call upon a Void-sent minion upon their enemies. They offer high mobility with their teleport abilities and are among the flashiest of the melee jobs. While not terribly difficult to start, they can be tricky to master, making them a good choice for players of all skill levels. If Edgar was your favorite character in Final Fantasy VI, Machinist is here for you. Unlocking at level 50 in Ishgard, the Machinist skill set includes several of Edgar's iconic tools from the game. As masters of technology, they move between slower phases of build-up before unloading a flurry of bullets during Wildfire. Although Square is struggling to find their right balance, Machinist remains a fun class to play in both raid and PvP environments for all skill levels. Dancer unlocks at level 60 in Limsa Lominsa. Like Sage, they partner with another player, increasing the DPS for both members as they move about the stage. As one of the easier classes to play, their main mechanic relies on a rhythm-like minigame that ends with solid damage and buffs to party members. While they don't do much personal DPS, their buffs can significantly boost the party overall, making them a solid all-around choice in any situation. At level 50, players can unlock the fanciest class in Ul'dah, the Red Mage. Striving for perfect balance, red mages manage casts of white and black spells before jumping in to strike with their rapiers. As one of the easier classes to play, they are also one of the most popular, with a good mix of damage, party buffs, and an instant cast system to provide immediate reses. If you would like to learn more about red mages, please check out my Talking the Red guides and subscribe to my channel to see it in action. That concludes this edition of Welcome Sprout. I hope it provided a quick glance at each of the jobs to help you choose how your Warrior of Light journeys into the world of Aetheris. Once again, this is Wes, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.